I am recording, right? Okay. Just checking. Sometimes I forget. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Christy, spelled with an E. I hope everyone is having a great Tuesday. Like the title of the video says, today I'm going to tell you my coming out story of why I left the left. And I suppose the best place to start is how I joined the left, because that in itself is a little bit of a story. So let's go back all the way to the early 90s. My parents joined a cult. If you know who the Duggars are, or the TLC show 18 Kids and Counting, or 19 Kids, I don't, it's been a long time. I don't remember. I don't keep up with a lot of that anymore. I used to, but I just don't really have anything to do with that aspect of my life anymore. But the cult was a homeschool religious cult called the Advanced Training Institute, or ATI for short, also called the Institute in Basic Life Principles, or IBLP. I know they always love acronyms, don't they? All of these letter organizations, you know, CIA, FBI, you know, CDC, they're all, anyways. So yes, my parents joined a cult. I was in that cult until I left home at a week before my 22nd birthday. So I was raised, you know, conservatively. I was taught the importance of voting at a young age. My dad was a staunch Republican, and his sister, my aunt, was a staunch Democrat. And every Thanksgiving, I kid you not, every Thanksgiving after dinner, the two of them would have political debates. The rest of us would just clear the table because we knew that they would never come to an agreement. They were never going to budge. They both knew that. They could have just left it alone and had a nice family meal, but they had to argue about it. I don't know, maybe it's the whole sibling thing. I guess my brother likes Ohio State and I do not. And so, you know, we tease each other about it, but we never like would get angry that, you know, I'm a Wolverine or he's a Buckeye. And, you know, that's just the way it is. I don't love him any less, you know. But anyways, sorry to, my brain likes to go off on little tangents here. Let me get my tea. I'll be right back. It's always better with a nice cup of tea. If whatever you're drinking, cheers. So, my idea of a Democrat was also from my aunt's point of view, who had, I guess the best way to put it would be the boomer, if we go generationally, the boomer idea of a Democrat, or what the Democrat Party was, you know, in the 60s and 70s. And so that was what I had. That's what I was familiar with when it came to the different political parties. And after I left home, as a lot of people that, you know, escaped the cult, and if you're curious, I will link, there's a website with all sorts of different stories and testimonials that it really is eye-opening if you want to go down that rabbit hole. So I will put that in the description of this video so you can go check that out if you so desire. But after I left, I went completely in the opposite direction. I wanted to do everything opposite that my parents had done because I grew up in a cult. I will do a whole video, and I don't want to get into all of the specifics with the whole, cult, because that's a completely different story. It is tied to it, but it's only because it's my life, and that's not what this video is about. So I became, a Democrat, and when Trump first ran for office in 2016, what I knew of Trump, because I didn't grow up with television, so I didn't know him as a personality, as a TV personality or anything. My dad had some books of his. My dad really liked him. So because my dad liked him, that it was just instinctual for me to not like him. And that was all I was hearing in the media as well, because I was trying to be very, I wanted unbiased news. And I thought that I was receiving unbiased news. And when, Trump won in 2016, and things were, they seemed to be, economically pretty good. And I didn't, again, all I kept hearing in the news was bad this, bad that, orange man, bad, And, when that's all the news you're consuming, that seems to you to be common knowledge. And when COVID happened, well, slightly before COVID, actually, a friend of mine who I know she's one of the smartest people that I know. I call her my voice of reason. She has no filter and says exactly what's on her mind, and I absolutely love that about her. And I had seen some posts on Facebook where she was in support of Trump. And I was like, she's smart. Am I missing something here? So I started digging and looking into different things. I was still slightly new to really doing a whole lot of research and stuff on the internet. The internet, when I was growing up, was non-existent. And then, when it was internet, it was email, an Oregon Trail. Anyways, I'm sorry about going off on all these little tangents. I apologize. So during that time, where I started looking a little bit deeper into things and actually looking at results of things, not what people's opinions were, but what was actually going on. And then when COVID happened, that's when all the lights went off. It was screaming cult at me, because you couldn't ask questions. The science was settled. That's not how science works. And I was confused, because I'm like, this is not how things should be. We should be able to question things. We, the people, run the country. The people in Washington are our representatives. They work for us, not the other way around. And starting to actually listen to what was going on, and the fact that I could not question things without being labeled something horrible, was the dumbest thing I'd ever heard. It took me right back to being in the cult. That's how I knew that it was crazy. And I knew that something was going on. And then I started doing more research and going down more rabbit holes and realizing that, things aren't what they seem, and having basically the curtain pulled away from my eyes, or, seeing the man behind the curtain, if you want an Oz reference. I couldn't be a part of a cult. It made me realize that they don't have our best interest. They're not there to represent us. They're there to represent themselves. And I don't say that as just a Democratic thing. I believe that the Democrats and the Republicans are both two arms of the same demon. it's government as a whole. It is not how it was designed to be. It makes me sick to learn what I have going down these rabbit holes with, the food industry, big pharma, all of the lies about different foods, and it all it all comes together for me in a way that I see the bigger picture now, and that's why I'm so focused on getting my life as healthy as I possibly can, because I don't want to be ruled. The government is not there as your ruler. They are there as a governing body to settle disputes. And don't get me started on going back to the olden days that I was never ever a part of. Because, it's kind of funny when you yearn for days that you never knew. But that is why I left the left, and I wouldn't say that I've joined the right, but that's where I stand. Those are the issues I care about. I care about immigration. Do I think people should come here? Absolutely. Do I think there's a process that should be taken to do that, and there should be rules and regulations as to how someone enters the country? Absolutely. You don't go back to when you were a kid and you had a tree house. Did you let just anybody come in your tree house? No, you had a whole questionnaire that they had to fill out, or you had, the 3 questions to cross the bridge, or whatever. There's always some sort of a vetting process. Do I think that the process that we have is the best? No. It should be reworked, but there's a lot of things that should be reworked, but that doesn't mean we should scrap them entirely. We should have a border. Why are we worried about Ukraine's border if we're not worried about our own? I know these are very unpopular opinions. They're just my opinions. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just sharing my opinions with y'all. And that's it. This is just my life and where I've come to be where I am. Oh, you want to see something cool? When I figured out I could do this again, I laughed. I sat there and giggled, because when I was younger, I used to see how I could, pretzel-y I could get, and I would twist my legs all up, and I can do it again. My legs are now small enough. I can do it the other way too. I know, I'm weird. The silliest things excite me, but that's what makes me me. Cheers. And yes, I promise this is only tea. I do not drink alcohol at all anymore. After I know what it does to the body, nope. Nope, I just don't want it. I used to, but not anymore. So that's just tea. This is just my personality. I'm just a weirdo. That's all. I'm just me. If you know me, you get it. And if you stick around long enough, you will too. But I suppose I have rambled on for quite a while. If you are still watching, thank you, and give yourself a round of applause, because I thank you for that very much. Mwah! I love you all. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will catch you all later. Toodles.